we got a bit of a problem. Folks, Lester here. Jamie is not here. I know what you're all thinking and probably screaming at this point. Wait a minute. We don't come to see Lester. We didn't come to see Lester. But I am here on behalf of Jamie to let you all know. I don't know how I can focus right now. Look, I'm trying to have a timeout Tuesday. You got to go away. I'm trying to do Jamie justice. And I don't know how I can do Jamie any justice by having Trixie staring in the window at me. So I'm sorry, okay? I'm so sorry. Timeout Tuesday is Jamie's. It's her show. And however, Jamie is traveling. Now, you guys may or may not know that Jamie tried to go live earlier from the airport. And she said that it was impossible because as she tried to talk louder so that you could hear her, people around her began to talk louder, and she could not find a nook or a cranny. Oh, that's right. Anna Marie Piazza. That's an awesome last name. That's just a beautiful name altogether. Says, where's your drink? That's true. Jamie does drink on her Timeout Tuesdays. Everybody, I'm going to leave you for a couple of seconds, and I'm going to run grab my drink. Now, I do think I have something I can leave you with. Now, if you saw Lester's video yesterday, hold on, let me upload something that I can leave you with that will entertain you for a minute. All I need is a minute. This over here, I think, will entertain you. I'll be right back. Okay. Where are we at here? Okay, we're good. So, what I would like you to notice about that particular picture is all of that dry ground right there on it's my right side. I don't know if that's your right side or not. That is all the land that we had cleared recently. And we're super excited because tomorrow they're going to start hydroseeding. That's right. So hydroseeding is a really neat process. So can I close that now? All of that will be covered up with a beautiful green, lush grass in what I hope is no time. Okay, so cheers to a Timeout Tuesday. I'm a mess. I am a mess. I'm just in from outdoors. But since I am allowed to have a drink, what I'm going to be drinking today, which is what I drink every day, is Jim Beam Vanilla. And I have a funny story to tell you about Jim Beam Vanilla. Don't judge, guys. Don't judge. I know what I'm doing here. I have a lot larger cup than what you probably do. And I'm mixing it with my Dr. Pepper. I want to show y'all something, how good I am. Does this guy know what he's doing or not? Does this guy know what he's doing when he makes up a drink, everybody? I have a funny story to tell you about Jim Beam Vanilla. Let me get me a straw. I'm going to come around. Okay. So, I'm trying to do Jamie justice, and I know there's no way I can do Jamie justice. One thing I did right was use a straw to stir, not my finger, because on a normal day, I ain't wasting time getting a straw. On a normal day, if you weren't watching, I am gonna just pour it right in there and take my finger and stir. Then I'm gonna take my finger and go in my mouth and lick it to make sure it tastes right. Hey, you want it ragtag, you get ragtag. Cheers, y'all, to a Timeout Tuesday. And this is good. Let me tell you something that's going to embarrass Jamie, but she'll never know because she's right now she's flying. She's up in the air. But I have never really been a drinker of anything other than, a Coors Light, a Bud Light, Miller Light, a beer. I drink light beers, I would say most of my life. And only on occasion, and I mean a very rare occasion, if someone was to buy you a shot of something or another. I'm not really a margarita kind of person for, tequila and whatnot. But Jamie's mom came to town a couple of months back. And when Jamie's mom got here, the first trip that she needed to make was to the liquor store. And that's fine. I mean, don't judge Jamie's mom because she enjoys having a drink in the evenings, because we all enjoy having a drink in the evening. I think most people enjoy having a way to kind of, put a little bit of an end, a relaxing end to your day. And I think that there's nothing wrong with that. That's my opinion, and you don't have to agree. But what Jamie's mom brought back was a bottle of this Jim Beam vanilla. I'd never heard of it. It's nothing I'd ever drank. And so she was mixing it up with Dr. Pepper. And she goes, Lester, here, come have a sip. And, it's kind of awkward that she wanted me to have a sip of her drink. But whatever, So I go by and I take her straw and she gives me a little sip of it. And it was actually really good. So I says, yeah, I guess I'll have one of those with you. And so I drank one right there with Jamie's mom. Jamie had her drink. I forgot what she was drinking, but it wasn't Jim Beam vanilla. I can promise you that. And so, yeah, how weird is that I'm sitting there with my mother-in-law and we're both drinking whiskey and Dr. Pepper. Yeah, see, that's something that not everybody says they've done. That's something not everyone says they've done. So cheers to Jamie's mom and the fact that she's introduced me to a really, what I think is a delicious drink. Now, we all have our own taste, guys. Everyone has their own taste of what kind of things they like in their drinks. And that's fine. I'm not judging you. And I don't really think y'all should be judging me or Jamie's mom, especially. She's a sweet lady. Let me hide this comment. Anna Maria Piazza, thank you for reminding me that Jamie has made it to where you guys can drink on her live. No, anyway, I am here for Jamie. I'm not here for myself. I have my own days that I do lives and I talk about Lester kind of stuff. But Jamie tried to go live from the airport, was not able to. She is traveling. She did not want you all to be concerned and worried about her. I see a couple of people have jumped over from Facebook. I did go live on Facebook first from outdoors when I was trying to finish up my chores. And the Facebook people were privy to being able to watch me feed the big birds and the goats. And but I was having signal issues, and that's why I said I'm going to go ahead and come on inside and do the StreamYard so I could do it from the internet, do it the right way, and so we wouldn't have to deal with signal issues. I'm also able to put all of the pages together here, which is why you might be on Facebook, you might be on, well, no, actually everyone here is on YouTube. Everyone here is on YouTube, and but I did put my channel. I went ahead and just put my channel on there. Okay, I'm sorry. I just thought I would do that. But So where is Jamie traveling is the question. Guys, I'd rather not give that information out. I mean, I don't know if it's a secret. I don't know if Jamie will talk about it later, but normally what you do is when you travel, you don't always tell everybody where, because it would be embarrassing for Jamie, or it might even be scary for Jamie if she gets off the plane and there's someone there trying to, hi, Jamie, or whatever. You don't know. And so I would rather just not say, and then Jamie can talk about that when she gets back, or when she makes her next video, or when she goes on to her next live. So, no, I know she will see this, so we're going to try to do her justice. And so I guess I could just simply do what Jamie normally does and ask what you guys want to talk about, and we just go from there. So here we go. When are Charlie and Susan going to Mr. Leo's? I don't know. I saw Mr. Leo today. As a matter of fact, he came by to help clean up a couple of things off the pasture before the hydroseeders do their thing tomorrow. And oh no, we're not going to have that. So let me ban somebody here real fast. Ooh, I am going to ban this user and delete their comment. Hey, we're not going to come on here to Jamie's live doing all that mean stuff. We ain't doing that. So no way. And I'm glad I caught that. I don't always catch things right away. But no, Mr. Leo is super busy. And now I tell you what I did do. He already has an established farm there in Plum Grove. As a matter of fact, right there in front of his home is where he and his wife set up they have a taco stand where they make the best tacos in all of Plum Grove. I know that sounds really dumb to say in all of Plum Grove, like we're some little small town. So you're like, they're probably the only taco place. But I'm going to tell you right now, they're not. There are hundreds, maybe thousands of pop-up taco stands on every street corner. Seriously, on every street corner. And there are many places that have multiple taco stands that are parked side by side. I think what they do is go in a business venture together to buy a lot, a very small lot, not even a quarter of an acre, guys. These are tiny lots. And what they do is, I guess if it's a joint thing, they put their little buses or their stands, their trailers, whatever, side by side by side by side. So when people pull in, they can either go to any stand they choose to go to. So what's happening in Plum Grove is, I it's hard to talk about because people get so offended if you say something wrong. But that's the beauty of me. I'm coming on here telling you right now, I don't know if I'm going to say it the right way or the wrong way, if it's going to come out right or wrong, if it's going to offend you or not. I'm not purposely coming on here with any malintent trying to describe the conditions of Plum Grove, the home of, the original I'm a Survivor sanctuary. But Plum Grove is changing, and every day it changes more and more. And and I don't even mean the demographics. I just mean the landscape, the look, the feel, the roads. It's all I guess it's okay to describe Plum Grove as every border town along the southern border of the entire United States, because I've been to many border towns. I've traveled to Mexico many times. And in Texas, you just drive. You don't fly to Mexico, you drive. And so, especially when we would go to maybe South Padre Island, there's a little town right across the border, a border town called Matamoros. And so, what Plum Grove looks like to me is exactly what I would see if I crossed the border at Matamoros. There's taco stands everywhere, and it's just a different type, a different look than what most of us are familiar with. And so for a little town like Plum Grove to be just I don't want to say, I'm trying to find the right word choices. I still care about, I don't want to be offensive to anybody, but it's just been way too much in too little of time to ever have the infrastructure prepared for what Plum Grove is seeing. And so the number of students that are enrolling in the schools every single day, or making it to where they build a new school, and before the new school is completed, there are portable buildings stacked up along the what was going to be a playground. That's what I'm talking about when I say. And then this is something else about the schools. I know this because I drove a bus for the Cleveland schools, and Plum Grove is also known as South Cleveland. Um, they would start lunches at 10 in the morning. Lunches start at 10 in the morning and would end at 1 in the afternoon. So you're saying, wait, how can lunch start at 10? Doesn't school start at 8:30? Yes. Yes. School starts at 8:30 for elementary, and they have their first lunches come in at 10. And you say, well, why would you do that? That makes no sense at all. There are so many groups of students who have to come through the cafeteria, and you have to give each kid 30 minutes. So from 10 to 10:30, and then 10:30 to 11, that's two groups. Now, of course, you have multiple classes in there around a cafeteria, but there's so many students that you have to start that early to get all the kids through lunch. And then that doesn't even include all of the after school things and all the before school things. And um, anyway, I guess I've jumped off the question. The question says, when are we going to move the two big birds to Mr. Leo's house? And I was going to say that Mr. Leo has an established farm, but what he does not have at this point is an established pasture large enough to contain the ostriches, or with fences high enough. And so I'm not going to send my birds off where they could be where they could be a danger to anybody, or where they could be in danger. And the last thing that I would ever want is my birds to end up going over there to any place, any property, and getting out and something bad happening to them. And that is what I would foresee happening. So I've asked, well, I didn't ask. I've shown Mr. Leo all of my fences and the way that we constructed them and why we built them that way. He's also, don't forget, he was also at I'm a Survivor. So he saw, oh, someone says, Lester, take a drink. Okay. Does that mean so you can have a drink too? Do we drink together? Is there some kind of a rule? Don't get me going, y'all. Do not get me going. And so Susan and Charlie will be making that trip, but Mr. Leo knows he has some fence work to do first. And I'm excited. He's a great guy. He has a great family, and I do believe it'll be a great move. The pastures are beautiful. They'll get all that they need. And what I like about it the most, even though it'll be sad not seeing Susan and Charlie every day, is that whenever you drive by, I can see them. They're right there from the road. You'll be able to see them. So that'll be really neat. Remember, you have to work tomorrow, Lester. Teresa Eulenhake, just for you, I'm having two. Watch me and see if I don't. I don't know how long you're going to stick around, Teresa, but you watch and see if I don't have two. And besides, Jamie's not here. So what does that tell you? I'm not going to be forced to wake up anytime earlier than when I'm ready. Jamie does have to be up and dressed. Jamie calls it putting her face on. I don't even know why women refer to that way, because you're beautiful the way you are. But Jamie says I have to get up and put my face on. Okay, I know it's just an expression. It's cute. And so she gets up earlier, and normally by the time she gets up and starts putting her face on, with the bathroom light on, with her moving around, it just kind of gets me moving too. But I'll tell you this, tomorrow there'll be no one putting a face on, and I don't put a face on. I just get up and go. I'm lucky if I haven't brushed teeth and put on deodorant. No one wants to hear that, do you? I'm kidding. I try to take care of myself. But no. So as far as that first question goes, I know it took a while to answer, but Mr. Leo will be getting two of our birds, and we're excited about that. And guys, let's be honest. They really are too congested over here. I hope that you guys saw the little video clip that I played. I'm just going to stick it back up real fast. Let me back up a little bit. I just want you to notice how dry everything is. Now, over here, the way I'm seeing it, over here on the left side is the new pasture that just got cleared. And then over on the right side, you see the driveway that goes right up the middle. The driveway divides the property in half. And then over on the right side, can you guys see? Well, you see a little bit of a darker green, but a very little bit. And then you see what appears to be kind of a maybe kind of a light green, more of a brown. Guys, that is grass that is burnt. It's just burnt. It's burnt right to the ground. And then around the trees, you see sand. Listen, there's no grass here. There's no grass here. And I'm embarrassed to say it. I don't mind. I'll just kind of, this is on the hill. Look around the pond. There's no grass growing here. And then even on the, now by the barn, there's a little bit on that small little patch. But on the left side of your screen along the driveway, I mean, you can see the rock to the pond, but there's no grass even alongside the pond. The water has turned where it's not deep enough, where it's just kind of a nasty, slimy green. So Longhorn Lester's is not. I will say this again, and it is me having to swallow my pride, and sometimes I think they even say eating crow to admit this, but Longhorn Lester's is not the best place for our cows, our horses, our donkeys, and our big birds right now. It's not. It's not. And it's hard to admit that, because I always envisioned Longhorn Lester being just an amazing place for the animals. And when we made this purchase 2 years ago, we never thought we were going to have such drought-like conditions 2 summers in a row. And we're just not getting any moisture here. So we're trying to make efforts to, well, I've taken a couple of Longhorns. You guys know this, back to I'm a Survivor. And I tried to take a couple of mouths off the pasture. You already know that we lost Dixie. And so, I mean, in one way, that was one more mouth off of the pastures, one more mouth, one more belly to feed. We have 3 Longhorns here, which is Tex, Santiana, and Charlene. Charlene, I'm going to early wean her. You're going to hear it here first. I'm going to have to early wean her from Mama. I did the same thing last year with, well, it was Jolene and Santoro. I took them off Mama early. And sometimes, you can't predict what Mother Nature is going to do. But when we purchased the property, it was in the fall and the winter. And so we had no idea what summertime looked like. And then we found out that the pasture that we thought would be the 10 acres for our grazing pasture, which normally, if you have the right kind of grass, it's the rule of thumb is 1 acre per large animal. And I'm thinking, okay, so we could run, with the pond, we could still run 8, 9 large animals here, no problem. Plus we feed grains every day just because we enjoy the social event of it. And we don't mind throwing out some green hay, some alfalfa a few times a week. It's too rich to feed every day. So we like to spend time with our animals, and we like to do that during a social eating event. So we never thought our animals would struggle with their nutritional needs. And what we're seeing now is that we're having to really look hard and try to find options to continue what our dream was here at Longhorn Lester's. And obviously, step 1 was to get some of the animals back over to I'm a Survivor so that they could survive the summer. And then we had to clear off that pasture, the wooded pasture, because we had to have more grazing. We have to have a way we can rotate our pastures. And if you don't know what that means, you need to give your pastures time to heal. And so what a lot of proper management of your farming, especially when you run cows and horses, and maybe even goats and sheep, I don't know about goats and sheep, is you need to rotate your pastures if you can. Rotate them and give them a 2-week period to heal. And then so every 2 weeks you shift. But right now we can't do that. We don't have an additional pasture. And so we really are working, guys. We're trying to do all of our research. We're taking things that we read from you, and we're taking things from other farm channels that have similar situations and channels that we trust, not just the fly by night channels, but don't get me on that rant. But we're trying to do our animals right. And so I know what you're probably going to say, and maybe you are already saying it, is that maybe Tex and Santana should go back to I'm a Survivor temporarily. And I'm going to try to avoid that at all cost. Waylon and Santoro are doing fine. I mean, you guys have, if I don't know if you watch the videos or not, but if you watch any videos that have Santoro and Waylon living side by side, you will see that they're too young. They're not at the age right now where they're wanting to fight. Now, when you saw Santoro and Moses side by side, that was a different story because Moses is of that age. And Moses does, I'm just going to say, aggravate and entice and, encourage Santoro's poor behavior and bad choices. But with Waylon and Santoro, there's no beef, there's no drama. It's just two young bulls who are living side by side, hanging out with their own herd of females, or I would just say leading their own herd. And they both seem happy. And all of the cows that I'm a Survivor are doing amazing. And but I don't think that there's a place to take Tex back over there without all hell breaking loose, with Billy up in the front, and then you have Moses in the back. And so I'd rather just not have to think about that. We are working hard to make everything happen here. And then I'll say the last thing about this, and I'll move on, is that if you've noticed, none of the animals here are looking malnourished because we're doing all that we can and finding every possible supplement available to make sure they don't start showing signs of malnourishment. They're getting baths and watered down. They have access to clean, fresh water all day, every day. And we're doing all that we can. I love the shade. I love the topography, but we just do not have the right kind of grass here yet. But that's happening soon. All right, so let me read this over here. Elma says, Lester, you are your father's son right now, which is a great compliment. I've been watching you for 5 years, and then after watching your dad's videos, both of you are amazing men. Well, first of all, I did not pay Miss Elma to come on here and say that. If anyone assumes that I'm paying people for compliments, they are wrong. But I will say this. Thank you. Mel says, take a drink, in all caps. So it was funny about this is I've actually heard you guys tell Jamie to take a drink as well. So this is interesting. So if you had to, now this is if you had to, maybe Joanne's property in the back where they all used to graze, just block it off from Waylon. So I do understand that. And that's actually a really good idea. The problem right now is that Joanne is allowing her granddaughter and her granddaughter's husband and kid that they live in the big house in Joanne's old house. And they actually utilize the woods quite a bit, even for shooting. They like to go down and shoot. They have get-togethers because they're a younger couple, and so they have get-togethers with a lot of younger couples, and there's a lot of shooting going on. And that is a whole lot of the reason that I was able to purchase the property, because it was kind of a necessity. It helped out Aunt Joanne, and I needed a place to make sure that I could put my animals so they wouldn't have to be, exposed to something that could actually potentially get them, hurt. But I mean, I get it if you had to. Yes, I agree if I had to. And that's already fenced. It would just be a matter of tightening up the fence and running a little additional fencing, to make a DMZ between Moses and my dad's pastures. But I'm just going to see if we can hold out for a little bit longer. Now, I will tell you one neat thing. That was, thank you, Never Too Late One, which is also AKA Ann, sent that comment. I will say one more thing about it for everybody who's concerned about the animals here. We are going to have that pasture hydroseeded. Now, there's different kinds of way you can seed a pasture. I do have a seed spreader, and I think that most of you guys know that we've done that several times with fertilizers and to spread seed at both properties, especially in the fall to get our winter grass growing. But I know that type of process is difficult because that seed, Bahia grass seed, which is the kind of grass you need here, it does blow in the wind. So depending on how long until it begins to germinate, a lot of it could blow away because it's pretty windy on them hills. It could also wash away. If you had a heavy rain and you're already on a hill, a slope, that seed will simply wash right on down to the creek with the first rain. And that really worried me to spend money on seeding, and it may not ever catch and germinate and be able to sprout up. So going a more expensive route, which is hydroseeding, is what you see them doing on the side of the highway, where they go by and they spray the sides of where they're doing construction. It's like almost an overnight type of germination. So the grass can pop up and kind of help control erosion. And there's Mr. Leo calling right there. That's Mr. Leo calling me right there. I'm not going to get that. I'm talking to you. But I will. But the hydroseeding, I'm hoping will in a couple of weeks, especially if we can get a rain, man, that stuff can sprout up. And so the fellow who's going to hydroseed did a lot of research on the type of seed he's going to plant, and he thinks that possibly within a month or two, we might be able to have animals grazing it. So we're hoping that by the end of, wow. Guys, I'm so sorry. Now it's, bueno.
Hello, Mr. Lester.
Monday.
¿Cómo está?
Estoy en un live ahora mismo.
Oh, I'm sorry. Oh, ¿necesitas que vaya mañana temprano a mover los palos?
Si no, más temprano posible, por favor.
All right.
Pero si mañana no, el otro día. Si mañana no, el próximo día.
¿Mande?
Si no puedes mañana, el otro día está bien.
Ah, all right. Yeah. Por eso hablaba, porque mañana tenía un poco de trabajo, pero si urgía, si era urgente, mañana podría ir.
Ok, buddy, está bien. Gracias, amigo.
All right.
Bye. Oh my gosh. I am so sorry. That was embarrassing. So what happened was, if you want to know, today when Mr. Leo was taking all and cleaning up the pasture, he made a pile to be burnt. And so when I went down to check everything out and make sure it was all ready for the guys to come tomorrow to hydroseed, I'm like, wait, why did he make a separate burn pile? I already had a burn pile. And I messaged and I says, if you would have put everything into one pile, then when they hydroseed, there's only going to be one spot where they can't get to. They can hydroseed all around it, and I'll be able to burn that one pile, and eventually that seed will spread, or I can spread it by hand. But when he made a separate burn pile in two different locations, I'm like, why did you do that for? Because now I'm going to have two locations, two big bald spots in a pasture. And so I asked him to come back and move that pile and put it with the other one. But I don't know why they were calling right now. And I'm so sorry you had to try to hear me talk Spanish. That was quite embarrassing because I am not good with Spanish. I used to. Anyway, what were we saying? Where are we at now? What's the next question? Where are we at here? Oh, a lot of folks were saying that they actually were impressed with my Spanish. So I'll give you a little bit of, so I will say this. Most people when they work or live around anyone who speaks a different language, or if you travel to another country, you do begin to acquire the language. And so many folks who were, if you were a military family and you lived in Germany or you lived in some other country, I just say Germany because I know there's a large military base in Germany, you do begin to acquire words and then phrases. And so it's no different for, me being a school teacher for all of those years. I've acquired quite a bit of school Spanish and then stuff that I would learn from the kids, things that you have to say with the parents. You just have to. There's no way around it. You have so many students who are Spanish speaking, and you have parents who are Spanish speaking, and so you just begin to acquire the language. It's, of course, you are offered the language through school, and so you can take Spanish in school. And yeah, that was just kind of my path, is that I took Spanish in school, and then I worked for a very long time with bilingual and ESL students. So, and hey, get this, I taught them English. So my job was teaching language arts, reading and writing, to a lot of kids who spoke Spanish. And so the goal, let me tell you the goal of the bilingual program. And listen, I will cut this whenever you are ready to. I'm fine. I'm cooled off. I'm enjoying my drink. And I'm almost ready for number two. I don't know how you guys are doing on yours, but so here's the goal of the bilingual program in your schools. Ready for this? It takes about 4 years to acquire language enough to be able to use it in a academic setting. Now, you can acquire the language skills of the basic conversation. They call that BICS, by the way. You can acquire the interpersonal skills in no time. It doesn't take long at all to say, "Hey, cállate el hocico! Shut your mouth." I'm kidding. I'm joking. I've never told my kids that, okay? But it takes no time to learn. You already know this. Most of y'all know some bad words in Chinese or some bad words in Spanish. You learn some words just really, really fast. And then you know that you can't, that those kind of words are not going to help you academically. So what you have to do is it takes about 4 years to acquire the language enough to be able to use it in an academic setting. So what we would do is many times you would offer what they call a dual language program, where you would try to use both languages back and forth. And there are people who oppose that. There's a lot of folks who are under the mindset of, if you live in America, you're going to speak English the same way that I speak English. And that's kind of, I'm not trying to put that down, but that may be fine in some parts of America. But we really are a great melting pot of cultures and languages here. And some states feel that more than others. There are many states that have no idea about what other states look like demographically. And yes, we are all Americans, right? But we don't all speak the same languages, and we don't all eat the same types of foods, and we don't. No, there is a lot of, and so a lot of folks who don't live in a state that has an immigration crisis, and you don't see the influx of students, and you don't have to see the poverty that and the conditions that a lot of folks are living in. They're trying to find the American dream. The same way years ago, all of our ancestors came here looking for that same American dream, and all of the hardships that our ancestors had to undergo to be able to get to where we are at today. But what we don't sometimes realize is there's people today, right now, who are trying to find that same American dream. And that struggle is so darn real, y'all. So we've just forgotten that it was our ancestors who also had to come find that dream in a land that was wild and untamed. And, and so to a lot of folks who don't understand the desire to seek the American dream. Well, I mean, we've forgotten where we've come from, because we all came here at some point, maybe not us, but our ancestors did, trying to find a better life for ourselves. And hopefully we've all found that. And you can't blame a dad or a family living in poverty in some other country who are trying to find their piece of that American dream. And sometimes the hardships that they have to go through to make it from one day to the next is tough. So we try to be respectful and know, and not just point fingers and scream and holler and shout about, look at our neighborhoods, look at all these stray dogs, and why are all these taco stands everywhere? Instead, we try to embrace it the best that we can. We try to help out whenever we can. And hey, and I will say this, we eat at the taco stands all the time. Guys, that is the best things that ever happened to Plum Grove. Maybe our streets are falling apart, and maybe our schools are overrun with free and reduced lunch programs. And maybe they do serve kids lunch starting at 10 a.m. And maybe there's stray dogs, and maybe there's all kinds of riff crime that we've never seen before. But there are amazing places to eat in Plum Grove. So I don't know if that y'all find that humorous or not. Sally says, it's mostly young men coming here. I don't really think that's true, Miss Sally. I don't know exactly. I've never looked at the numbers, but I probably watch the same or similar news programs that you do. And whenever you see all of those folks who are crossing over the rivers and trying to find their way into the country, if that's what you're referring to, I would say there's quite a few women and even children in those groups. And that's sad to me. That's very sad to me. I would say there's not many elderly. If I had to break down to see who's not coming, I don't think there's a whole lot of elderly folks. I mostly see, and I'm only talking about the local news or the national news or social media news. When you see the camps, I see what I would say would be mostly people under the age of 30, I think. I don't really see a lot of folks who are older than 30. And then if you look at the neighborhood across the street, and that's in Plum Grove, so this is kind of a personal experience. If you go by and you drive down, gathering the dogs or whatever we're trying to do, feed the dogs, or even going to the gas stations or whatever, I would say the majority, I would say 80%, maybe even higher, of the residents of that community are younger. They're younger. And I don't really see it where it's being mostly men. Now, maybe it is where you live, and maybe especially, I think if there's like work, if they're here seeking work, especially if it's like migratory work, it might be mostly men that follow the work, whatever parts of the country are having work. But I do think it's a lot of women and children too. So that's kind of sad. And I don't even know how we got on that, but I do know it's time for me to pour myself a second drink. So let me have a show of hands over here. Do I keep going, or do we go ahead and cut it right now? I'm just going to look for some comments over here. Yeah, someone says, let's not have any hate speech. So if I have said something that did not come out of my mouth right, I give you my word that I had no malintent. Okay, so it's okay to keep going for a little bit. So I'm going to pour myself a second drink, y'all. You want to join me? So this is our cool ice maker. And we talked about this last time, how it makes the good ice. It's the soft ice that we really like. So stop it with the hate speech lecture. All right, so let me know who's being mean, and we'll just ask that person kindly to not be mean, because we're not trying to be mean. I'm trying to find someone says, Lester, you said nothing wrong. It's people in the comments who are being mean. So I don't know exactly who said what. I can't read every comment. There we go. Thank you. Please keep, hold on. Ah, that was in all caps. Hold on. Carissa, who has a really cute filter. Look at her little, does she have ears? Please keep going, Lester. This is the most calming my day has been. I enjoy watching and talking to people in the comments. Okay. Well, that's really great. Hey, here's Dwayne Lacey. Dwayne is another teacher. Dwayne says he did not say anything hateful. So, Dwayne, are they talking about me or someone in the comments who's being hateful? I'm just not real sure where the hate part comes from, because I give you my word, I did not try to be mean. If I did say something mean, I'm trying to find Dwayne's reply to my question. Who is the one saying mean stuff, me or somebody else? Now, so I don't know. Oh, okay. So everyone else is answering. So there's someone in the comments who's being mean. So Dwayne is also a school teacher from the Houston area. We never worked together, but Dwayne and I have been Facebook friends for a very long time. And it's sometimes when you work together in the same profession, let's just say in the same profession, you do end up finding commonalities. And so we ran across each other. And I know that Dwayne is a whole lot like me as far as his trying to establish and build relationships with his students. And so I learned to love the things that Dwayne would post on his Facebook, especially keeping up with his students long after they left his classes. So Dwayne says hi to everybody. Dwayne, look at you. Yeah, if y'all ever want to see a very positive and uplifting experience, go by and visit Dwayne's page, his Facebook page. He doesn't make videos, but I told him he should. He should make videos of his teaching experiences. I'll tell you this. If I was still in the classroom, I would. Ooh, I just saw something freeze and then go. Oh, this is a great question. Hold on. Oh, it went so fast. Here we go. John. Hey, John. I'm so happy that you asked this question. Can you add sprinkler systems to your pastures there? So listen, this is something that I talked about on the Facebook channel a little bit earlier. And guys, this is going to be the craziest thing you've ever heard. Are you ready to hear this? Okay. We are not allowed to use the river. We have the Trinity River right here. You cannot irrigate from the river to your pastures. That's against the law. Okay. And I get it. I get it. Because what if every cattleman who wanted to make sure his pastures were nice and green begin to run irrigation pipes all over the place? And so there's all this irrigation going all over the place. And then imagine how depleted our water source would be. That Trinity River would just have, it would be nothing. So they don't allow you to do that. You can't do that. You cannot run irrigation from the river to your pastures. But get this, you can fill your pond from the river. And you can irrigate your pastures from your pond. So let me draw. I need a pen. Give me a moment. Oh my gosh. So what's crazy about that is, let's just say that here's the river. Okay. Why did I get a fine tip? Okay. Let's just say that this is the flowing river, right? And it flows right beside the house. It's against the law to irrigate from this and spray. I'll just put arrows into our pasture. That is against the law. You can't do that. But what you can do is take that and fill up your pond. You can take river water and irrigate to fill up your pond. And then from your pond, you can take that. Those are just little arrows. And you can use that water, your stock pond, to irrigate your pastures. So what I said was so dumb about that, which, hey, you know what? It's like a loophole. It would require really a two types pump system, one down by the river to pump that water out of the river in like a 4-inch pipe all the way into our pond, which our pond is about a football field, 300 foot or so from the river. So you picture enough 4-inch flexible pipe, because we have to go up, the terrain, the hills, from the river to our pond to fill that. And then either bring that same pump and all of that flex hose over up the hill to our pond, rerun that from the pond out to our pastures. How crazy is that? And I talked about how when I was a boy, just a young guy, my dad had my grandpa, so not my dad, my grandpa had irrigation equipment, and we would irrigate all of the acres there on Morrow Hill. Now, there was an original 500 acres. It was not chopped up then the way it's chopped up now. Over time, land gets all chopped to pieces, and then it gets divvied up in divorces and divvied up in when someone passes and divvied up to, people lose some, or they put some up for collateral and end up losing it for this or that. And so, yeah, what was an original 500 acres of Morrow Hill has kind of been squashed down to what we have now that my dad, my Uncle Raleigh have. Other families, other Morrows have sold and moved away. But no, but there was the time when my grandpa would irrigate, and I would help him with all of that stuff, and we would irrigate all of the hay fields. And so we've always had plenty of, so I have experience with irrigation. But in this area, all I can find, to answer John's question, all I can find in this area are people that do yard irrigations, like underground, little water lines that go to your water well. And for the pastures like this, you need a large irrigation system, the kind that you see on farmlands. Something you could pull around with your side-by-side or your tractor and move it around and move it to different locations and let it just spray away. It would require a pretty large pump, quite a few horsepower, and that is something that we will eventually have to look into if we ever want our dream of Longhorn Lester to become real and be able to offer it as a home for the animals that we would like to have here. The horses, especially the Longhorns. I mean, come on, it is Longhorn Lester is going, sheesh. But you really do have to have pastures to run this many animals. And, but no, that's a weird loophole in the law, how you cannot irrigate from the river. And then, John, I'll just say that it would burn your well up to try to irrigate from your water well, to irrigate. Let's just say 15 acres. If we do the 5 up here that we just cleared along with the 10 over here, it would burn up your well trying to sprinkle and keep it. No, that's not feasible. Here's Chris Kinsey Thompson. What's she up to? Chris, I will help pay to fill the pond so y'all could pull water from that. I wills help. No, we don't want any help financially, Chris. Chris, I'm ashamed of you for even saying that. You already know that we will earn your money the old-fashioned way. We're not going to ask for any money. We will do it the old-fashioned way by trying to earn it, and we'll work for it. And the way we work for it is by trying to find ways to create interesting content in our videos, to continue to create characters out of our animals, to give them a voice. where you will learn to love some and you will learn to not love some. The same way you learn to love some of us and not love some of us. We're all characters in a big novel. You do know that, right, Chris? We are nothing more than characters in a novel. And that is, I really do feel that way. I really do feel like our lives have become nothing more than just characters in a novel. And what a fun novel it's been. There are chapters that are fun and some chapters that are not so fun, but all of these animals play an amazing role. And it's a chapter book or a novel that I've really enjoyed my part of. And I hope that the other creators who are also a part of who also have their own mini series of chapter books are also enjoying it as much as I am. And so that's how we will pay for everything. We will earn it. And I would encourage you to stop that mentality, Chris. You're from California. Californians don't mind, guys. They just want to give money to everybody. But no, make people earn your money. Don't give your money away to people. Make them earn it. Don't be a part of that part of the culture where it's okay to, what do they call that? Where everybody wants to have they call that something. Not crowdfunding. I don't think they call it crowdfunding, where they all want to start GoFundMe's about everything. Hey, I want to buy my wife a birthday gift. GoFundMe $1,500 so I can take her to wherever. No, guys, that's so dumb. That's not the way life's supposed to be. You work for your money. They call that something, though. It's called something, and a lot of people are doing it. What is that thing called? Hey, I think Jamie might be here. Unless y'all think that I'm Jamie. I'm not Jamie, but Jamie may have landed and she might be on her own live now. Jamie, if you're here, I'm going to send you an invite. If Jamie is here, y'all, and it might not be Jamie, but if Jamie is here, I'm going to send her an invite. Jamie, it's going to be in the comments. Jamie, just click that link and we can go a side by side. And she did, and she is. Yeah, no, I forgot what they call that. There's a word for that. Pantheon, Pandion. I don't know what they call that. Hey, if you want to give me money, here's my Pantheon. Or what? Can someone tell me the name they call that thing? I know you know about this. Jamie must be here, yet she has not joined. She's probably embarrassed. Someone says it's called begging. Patreon. Guys, it's called Patreon. And why the hell would you do that? Who in their right mind influences you so much that you should just give them your money? Just give me your money. Just give me your money. That is the dumbest thing ever. I don't understand that. I do think it's a generational thing. I've said this before. I think it's generational, and I think it's the younger generation who feels like they just deserve it because they have found their way into your life. So for that, you give me some of your money. I don't get it for anything, but we insist that you do not give us your money. Let us earn it. And so Jamie must be here. Gosh darn it. Why will she not join me? Jamie? Maybe she's been trying to text and I've been ignoring it. Let me see. Well, she did say I landed. So let me ask. Let's just call her. We're just gonna FaceTime video her.
Hey, babe.
You're on your live.
That's really funny. I'm walking outside of the airport right now, like I'm trying to leave.
Why don't you join the live?
Why don't I go live? Because I have to get in an Uber.
Huh?
I have to get inside an Uber.
Okay. Well, I'm happy that you're safe.
Well, thanks for going live and rambling it. I gotta go find my car.
Who says I've been rambling at it?
I think you've been live for 2 hours.
I can't read what that says, but I don't think it says 2 hours.
Oh my God.
Anyway, I am so sorry. I hope I'm doing you justice. I hope I'm doing you well. And we love you, and we will see you whenever you get settled.
All right, love you.
All right, love you too. There she goes. There's Jamie. I told you. See? Cheers to Jamie. Yes, it's called Patreon. Let me ask a question, and we'll get off of that subject. We're just jumping subjects like crazy. If you, I'm not even going to ask. That's okay. It doesn't matter. I don't want to bash anybody. I'm not here to bash anybody. I get it. I get it. You know what? I love watching my kids open their Christmas and birthday gifts. And so I do know the joy there is in giving. And I do know that I'm a Survivor does have a wish list. And I'm a Survivor does have the thing on Facebook for the supporters. I get that. And the reason that we do that is so that you will not send checks of $50. So you do not send all kinds of items that we're unable to use. So I get it. I get it. We offer a place, but we don't ask. I think that's the big difference. We're not asking you, please give us money. Please send us money. Please give us. Instead, I guess we do offer a place for those who just have the love of giving. You know, my boss told me after Hurricane Harvey, I was at school and I had finally gone back to work. It had been probably a month after the hurricane flood. And I finally went back to work. And a lot of the teachers were coming by trying to give me stuff because, I mean, they knew that even though I had not talked about it, my boss and the viral video had already made its rounds. So all the kids knew, all of my coworkers knew, all of my colleagues around the campus knew of the whole situation. And they knew that I was, homeless. And they were all trying to find ways to help. I don't want to say they all, but there were a lot of folks who had a burning desire to help. And there were some folks who I could say, no, I'm good. I'm going to make it. I got a plan. I'm good. Thank you so much. And they would leave you alone. There were others who never said a word to you. They didn't say a word to you. It's like they actually talked to you more before you found yourself in a bad place. But once you're in a bad place, you are no longer part of their life because you have nothing to offer me. So why would I want to even talk to you? That was the most hurtful thing about the things I began to learn about people after Hurricane Harvey flooding. When you found yourself with nothing, how fast people begin to drop out of your life because all I can think of is because you had nothing to offer them. And then there were others, though, who were insistent. Man, they would not take no for an answer. They're going to help you. You're going to, don't you tell me no. And they just would not take no for an answer. And that was when I first learned a very valuable lesson that my boss set me down. And she told me, she says that God has placed on their heart a desire to help. And she goes, if you don't want their help, then you can take their blessing and you can pay it forward. But do not deny them the blessing of trying to help you. And so I guess I learned on that day that there are people in the world who just want to help no matter what. And even though they don't take no for an answer because they have this burning desire. And then, I also learned that if you don't need their blessing, then you take it and you pay it forward. You pay it forward. And then I also learned about the friends that I lost during the Hurricane Harvey flooding experience. And then it was also my boss, such a smart woman, such a lovely, smart lady. And she said, she knew that there was some stuff going on in my head, and she knew that there was some crumbling relationships and some stuff. And she said, and a lot of that is because there were some people that I had been friends with for, I'm going to just say 15 years. At that point, I had been friends, like close friends enough to where I had helped them, with projects around their homes where I knew their families, their children by name. I had attended special events in their children's lives. I had been a part of some of their weddings. Um, and of course, it was people that you thought were your friends. Not only that, of course, as guys, you did your occasional guy time and your happy hours, and you played your cards and your fantasy football. And you found out that when the hurricane flood happened and you got back to work, that even some of those guys that you had been calling your friends, who you really thought were your adult friends, nothing. Just like no texting, no calls, no stopping by your classroom to see if you're okay, no one offering to take you out and buy you a beer. And then that was probably one of the most hurtful things that I had to deal with. I mean, yeah, the hurricane flooding and losing your home and all your stuff was hurtful in a different way, but by realizing who your friends were and who weren't was also very painful. And so Dr. Sanford was my boss for all of those years. I worked for her, and so I began to show my depression. I guess it was becoming evident, even though I didn't know. She saw it in me, and she would call me in, and she would try to give me little pep talks to lift my spirits. But in one of our conversations, I had mentioned about how a lot of the guys who I thought would be there weren't. And then she told me something that I didn't know about. But this is actually it's like a psychological thing. Do you know that? And if you've ever experienced anything similar, then this might help you too to understand people's mindsets when this happens. She says that whenever somebody knows somebody who goes through a horrific, life-changing event, they're going to react one of two ways. Well, I guess if they're a close person, you're going to react one of two ways. On one hand, you're going to try to do all that you can to help that person because you realize that it could have been you. It could have been you. And thank God it wasn't. And thank God it's not you and your family going through that or losing so much. But it could have been you. So instead, let me go ahead and do all I can to help this person through their loss, sort of in a way to, well, help them, but also a way to say, thank you, God, that it wasn't me. And I saw that. I saw those people who would not take no for an answer. But what was shocking to me is how many people did the second thing. In their minds, they somehow have this mechanism that can pretend like it never happened. It never happened. And if it never happened, then they can find peace that everything goes on. Life goes on like normal because it never happened. It never happened. Never happened. Nope, didn't happen. It didn't happen. Nope, didn't happen. And that is unfortunately where I found myself with the bulk of the guys. I don't even mean the lady teachers. I mean the guy teachers who I played basketball with and who I hung out with, and just, man, they acted like it never happened. Life got back to normal, and they got back to doing soccer with their kids, and they got back to doing date night with their wives, and everything began to reopen, and life got back to normal. And we got back to normal for everybody besides those who were directly affected by a hurricane flood. And they put into their minds that it never happened. And they would purposely try to avoid you, so as they would not have to be reminded of what you're going through, because it was going to end up. So it's a psychological thing that people do. And I know this from reading emails and comments and things that people say, that I'm not the only one that has had to deal with folks who you thought would be there who weren't. And that even includes family members, y'all. That's not just coworkers or church members. That was hard. That was the hardest thing. I guess that was probably one of the things that pushed me so far away from church. I'm not trying to deter you. I am not trying to deter you or persuade you, but I'll tell you what, when you grow up in a church and you attend I never attended church every service. I never. But my kids with the vacation Bible schools, you were saved and baptized in that church. Your kids were saved and baptized in that church. And you were a member of that congregation. And you had your place where you sat, and you attended church events, and you paid. Okay, I never paid my tithe either. Okay, fine. I never paid my tithe, but I would pay an offering. I would give an offering. But when all of a sudden everything is gone, and even the church, not a deacon, not the pastor, which was a huge shock. And listen to me, these weren't people who were directly affected. They didn't have any flooding issues at all. And not a phone call, not a drive by to see how you're doing, not to bring you a plate of food, a bucket of chicken. And so I haven't been to church since then. I haven't been to church since then, because this is not a feel sorry for Lester kind of a moment. This is not Lester trying to feel sorry for Lester, but these were some eye-opening experiences. And I think they're things that kind of shaped who I am today. As far as I'm hard to trust. I'm hard to trust people. And I can't say that I really have any close friends, because I don't trust people to be true friends. I think that people size you up for what you can offer them. I do think that. I think people can size you up. They look at you and they size you up, wondering what can they get out of you? How much can they get? How can you help them along their way? And if you're not able to help them along their way, then you're not worth their time. I hope that you haven't had those experiences, and I hope that you never have those experiences. Let's read a comment. Donna, unfortunately, in the midst of tragic times is when you find out who's loyal to you and who's not. So sad to alienate a friend in their time of need. We need more empathy in this world. Donna, I agree. You know who I've read about people who've gone through a divorce, from women or men, and there have been couples who they were friends with, and I guess the couple, when they divorce, all of a sudden that means that their friends has to choose one or the other, and that's something that happens, I think, pretty regular. And y'all may know about stuff like that. A lot of folks agree with that 100%. So divorces are ways that can be very divisive and separate you and make people choose sides. And why should anyone ever have to choose a side? But I feel like if I start rambling on, and I might get myself in trouble, then maybe I should probably go ahead and ending the live at some point. I probably need a shower, and I should probably find some dinner. Where's Lex tonight? That's cute. Thank you for asking about my son. Where did that go? I saw it pop up and it flew by so fast. So Lex is at my mom and dad's house. He's over with Connor. That's his little cousin. And Lex was such a champ, such a sport. He stayed with us the entire time that Jamie's family was here. and he was instrumental in a lot of fun things that we did. So I really enjoyed having Lex here. Lex is so good. He's easy, y'all. He's so easy to take care of. Ellie was hard. Ellie was hard, but Lex is so darn easy. But I got a couple of days with no Jamie and no Lex. I'm going to be missing them. Oh yeah. So Lex and his videos, I'll say one thing about Lex having some summertime is that he's learned a very valuable lesson. So, Lex started a YouTube channel, and he was hoping to kind of follow in his dad's and his big brother's footsteps, and start making some videos, start making a few dollars on social media. And I would say that the first month that Lex started making videos, Jamie and I both, Ellie, we all kind of sit down and taught him how to make a video. And we tried to remind him of the different things that people are going to want to watch and what kind of things people are not going to want to watch, and talked about how to make a video entertaining and all of the jargon that goes into being a video creator. And Lex had a very successful first month. Jamie and I both talked about his channel. I think that we probably promoted it by putting a link to it here and there. And Lex ended up, I think, making $136. I don't remember the exact amount. Jamie would remember, but I believe that Lex made $136 in the first. It takes about 2 months to get monetized. So that's really a combination of 2 months worth of video creation. But it also takes watch hours, and it takes a subscriber count. So you had to have at least 1,000 subscribers. I don't know. I think it's like 4,000 watch hours. And then after you reach both of those goals, then they will monetize your channel if you meet all of their community guidelines. And so Lex learned real fast that it seemed pretty easy, but that was because that Lester and Jamie were both trying to let you guys know that my little guy has his own channel. So, man, he was living large. Jamie went out and got him a little, I forgot what they called it. They call it something, GL. It's a little kid's debit card. And so Jamie could transfer money from PayPal, which is how Google pays you to add cents to PayPal. And so she would transfer the money that he earned from his videos to his little debit card. And so now he had $136. Guys, you don't put $136 in the hands of a 12-year-old. Don't do that, because what we told him is that, listen, you have $136. That's a lot of money for a little guy. But you don't get paid again for an entire month. You get paid once a month. And you have to make videos to earn money. But he forgot about all that. All he knew in his little one-track mind was he has $136 on his little debit card. So what does he do? That little guy goes to his Xbox. Man, I'm a bad dad. He goes to his Xbox, and he finds a way to enter his debit card into his Xbox account. And now he's buying games. He's buying characters for his little Fortnite game. He's buying things these are all virtual, nothing tactile. He has nothing, literally, he cannot have anything to show for his money except for a few digital created characters that are all virtual, that do nothing for him besides let him put on a different character face when he plays his game. And all of a sudden he's out of money. And he realized he was out of money. And of course, Lex is smart enough to know that he can only earn money by doing chores. So he starts asking to do chores. And so we're like, where's all your money at? Well, he spent it in just a matter of days. Excuse me. And so, and then not only that, but he wasn't making any videos. He was not making videos. He was making little shorts. A little short on YouTube doesn't make you any money. Shorts are shorts are a way to draw people to your page, but they're not going to earn you any money. And so, so when it come time for his next payday, which is the 20th of every month, by the way, for YouTube, Lex made $30. I think it was like $28. So he went from a kid who made 136 all the way down to $28. And he could not believe how he didn't make. And I says, Lex, you haven't made any videos. You spent the entire month not making any videos, and you spent all your money on those little dumb things. So he, man, whenever he got over here after the month with his mom, his summer with his mom, he went on a video spree. He's making videos every single day. And I says, now you're going to burn yourself out. I says, I wouldn't do that. You don't need to make a video every single day. You make a video and play it, Saturday and Sunday, the weekends, or find you a schedule. Nope. He's going to make a video every single day. And I don't know if he's kept up with that or not. I do watch his channel, but normally not until I go have my bath later. But he's made a dog parade. We did hide and seek with the drone. We've had a lot of fun. That kid and I, we've had a lot of fun. And he's making videos left and right, tasting the hard candy or the freeze-dried candy that Jamie bought him, like a little taste test kind of thing. There's been a lot of things that he's videoed. His dog videos about which dogs at Longhorn Lester have issues and what their issues are. So I know it's a kid's channel, and that's not for everybody, but I will say, hey, he's my son, and I will push and promote him if I can. So if y'all ever want to watch a cute kid's perspective on videos, I'll put his name at the bottom. So that's how you can find his channel on Facebook. On YouTube. It's called Iceland Dessert. And what's funny about, Sue already knows. And what's funny about that is that little name of his was something that he created last year. He had this vision. He's a 12-year-old. And so he had this vision where he wanted to make ice cream, not ice cream, but snow cones. He wanted to make snow cones for a living. That was going to be his job. He was going to be a snow cone maker. And he thought it would be cute if he called himself Iceland Desert, because it's like two words that are opposite, Iceland and desert. And he ended up spelling it wrong and naming it Iceland Dessert. So, which was cuter because it goes along. Snow cone is a dessert. So Iceland Dessert is his little YouTube name. And so that's his little channel. I saw today he said something like he has 8,000 subscribers. He's so darn happy. He's a kid. And so that's the kind of stuff that really excites you when you're of that generation, is how many subscribers and how many likes and how many views and all of that kind of stuff. But I told him it doesn't matter. And here's something you guys may not know. It doesn't matter how many subscribers or how many views or how many likes a video has. That has zero to do, where's my zero? That has zero to do with how much money a channel makes. I bet y'all didn't know that, did you? I bet you guys thought that you make money based on your likes, your views, and your subscribers, and that's not true. You have to have some of those things to be monetized to be able to earn money. But the way that you make money, oh boy, oh no, that's a problem. As I chug down two strawfuls, the way that you make money on YouTube is not from likes or views or subscribers. It's from people watching your videos. Here's the key word: past the ad. So you don't have to watch the ad. You can skip it when it says skip ad. But if you watch it past the ad, that's when you start making money. Advertisers will pay to put an ad on a video, and then what you hope that your the folks who see your videos will do is watch your video past the ad, and you only get credit if they watch it past the ad. That is the key word right there, past the ad. Because if you're like me, this is the way I am when I watch a video. I watch videos too all the time. I would say that I probably watch YouTube 90% of my TV time is on YouTube, on the smart TV. But if I'm watching a video and I'm bored, when that ad pops up and it says skip ad, or a lot of times I don't even wait. I'm like, you know what? There's nothing really in this for me. I'm not being entertained. I'm not enjoying it. I'm not curious about what's going to happen. So I will just simply X out and go watch a different video, find something different that I am entertained by. And so that's the secret right there of a video creator, is you have to find content that's entertaining enough or intriguing enough, or it has to be able to hold people past the ad. And then now you can't run an ad right away. Ads are put on there strategically by Facebook and by YouTube, and they have a way they space them out so as not to give you a bad viewing experience. You would never want to sit down and watch 4 ads in a row. No one would do that. So what they do is they will play your video, and then let's just say every 3 or 4 minutes, they may put an ad. So what you want to do is, if you can, is strategically hope that they watch past not just the first ad, but then they'll watch past the second ad. And so now you're getting 2 credits. And so what happens is there's a formula. I don't know the formula. It differs for every channel. It differs for every, they call it genre of video. But for the more ads that people watch past is the more revenue you can earn for your channel. But I will say this, a kid, a 12-year-old who can make $136 on videos. Now that was for 2 months. So even if we cut that in half, 136, let's just say $65. $65 a month for a kid, to me, is a darn good allowance. We never in our life would have made that much money in a month. So how crazy is it that they learn from an early age? But it's good because he learned a lesson here. If he wants to make money, he has to work. And his work may not be like mowing the grass or, doing chores around the house, but his work has to be finding engaging and entertaining content to put into videos, enough entertaining enough to where you choose to watch instead of saying, this is boring, I'm not going to watch this is dumb or whatever. So anyway, God, I really am just rambling. Can I answer a few questions, and then I really will leave you guys for the night? And give me some questions here. Jennifer, the answer is yes. Do you still get paid if you skip the ad when it comes to that point? Absolutely. As long as you keep watching the video, you can skip the ad. I don't get ads on Facebook, and the ones on YouTube are only 6 to 15 seconds for most of them. I have no problem watching past the ad. Well, thank you, Rosemary. That's what we love to hear. And I don't know why Facebook doesn't give you ads. Maybe I think that if you do YouTube Prime, they don't put ads on your videos. So YouTube Prime, I don't think will play ads on your videos, but I don't know exactly why you wouldn't see ads ever on Facebook. I don't know. Here we go. It's harder than most think to do these videos. I've been trying for a few months now. I find it hard to be myself because I'm worried about the critics. How do you get past that anxiety? That is a wonderful, I love this. Can we spend a little bit of time on this question right over here? So after Hurricane Harvey, man, I had never had so many critics as I did of that very first video of the homecoming after the flood. And I would say that I'm going to just say 50% of the comments were things like coward, you piece of SO, POS, piece of, for leaving those animals, just putting you down for not finding a way to save the ones that you lost. And so it was neat seeing your video be shared. And now at that point, there was no money. At that point, there was no money for videos because you weren't a part of the YouTube monetization program. It was just a video that you put out. And so it wasn't about anything to do with money. It was just the first video that I ever made on my YouTube channel that what they call went viral, where it was seen by millions of people. And reading the comments on that was hard. It was hard, and it made me second guess everything about myself, everything about my character. It made me second guess everything about my decision the day that Ellie and I left the animals, most of which you already know passed. It made me relive over and over my decision making in that couple of hours that led up to that moment when we had to leave, when there was no more time, when the house was, had water coming in. And it was hard. It was hard to read comments. But that was also the video that I will just say it opened a window of opportunity, because as many people that hated me for what I did and how I did not manage to save, the animals, there were other people that were just, they were curious about where I would go from there. Where does someone go from here? Where? I'm still live.
Oh my God. Okay.
I'll talk to you in a little bit. Do you want to join?
Yeah, I will. Give me just a second here and I'll connect.
Okay, bye. There were just as many people who wanted to kind of see where all this was going to go. Where does someone go from here? And then it was the fact that, of course, that video was on YouTube and Facebook. And then it was a person who reached out who wanted to buy my video. And at that point, I just made videos because that's what I did just for my kids and for my school. I was a video guy. And so he wanted to buy my video. And so I said, yeah, I need the money, man. I could use that money. My home was gone. And all of my clothes, my work clothes, and just everything was gone. And I needed the money bad. So what would you give me? And he offered me $2,000 in royalties. So if y'all don't know how that works, is $2,000 was upfront. It was just a check for $2,000. And that right there in itself was just, such a blessing. But then the royalties was a 70-30 split. So for every, I guess he did the same thing that we're doing now. He monetized the video. And so I would get 70% of that and he would get 30%. So let's just say a simple number of $100. Let's say the video made $100. I would get $70 and he would get 30. So he gave me the 2,000 and then he gave me a 70-30 split of the revenue that my video could create. And so what this company did, it was a company, what they were out of the UK. They're called Storyful. Storyful is the name of the viral video company. And so Storyful began to promote and push this video all over the place. Friends, this video went it went worldwide. It was shown in so many different languages and all over the world. And the money for each month began to come in, and it was just an ungodly number, an amount of money, more money than what I'd ever seen in my lifetime, more money than I ever thought I would ever make. And it was sad because there were so many people who were equally devastated as I was, all around me, all the way up and down the road, the students that I taught. And it felt so weird that here I am and I'm benefiting from the sale of a video, which any person could have had that exact same video, because every single one of the tens of thousands of people who had to go home that day for their first day going home would have seen very similar things. But I was the guy that recorded it. And whereas most people never did, I recorded my experience, never knowing anything about viral stuff. That wasn't a thing in that time. And for that video to go like it did, and it was able to build the barn dominium, it made enough money to it was a 1-year contract. So for 1 year, that was the deal. And so I would say in that 1 year, that one video opened up so many windows and of opportunity for me. It helped rebuild my parents' home. It did. We took that money, y'all, and we made it. It was a family. It was there's not a Morrow Hill person who did not get their piece of that pie. And that's just what we did. Everybody benefited from the sale of that video because we were all equally affected. You know, Uncle Dan lost his home. Tina lost her home. I lost my home. Mom and Dad's home is a log structure. It was not on stilts or on blocks. I'm sorry, not stilts. It was on. It's a concrete structure, as where where all of our homes were on cinder blocks, and the force of the water is what really did the most to tear up and destroy. But Mom and Dad's home held strong. And so they had to do some deep cleaning and some power spraying, bleaching, and all of that. But they were able to hold on to their home. And all of us, Jake and all of us, we lost our homes and had to kind of start over. And everyone had a different way of starting over financially. Some had good credit; they could go off and, per Tina and Rob. That's my sister Tina. She and Rob went and bought them a place out of Plum Grove. Daniel got him a mobile home, a double wide mobile home. And then I did the barn dominium. And so we all found a way. Jake got his little small house. And we all found a way to rebuild. My sister Kim, Tony, her son, was able to get him a little mobile home. And so we all found a way to make it. But man, that was crazy. And then so what that did for me is it allowed me to do the experience with Bear Grylls. I don't know if you guys even know about that, but I got to spend 3 days with Bear Grylls. We did an adventure up in the mountains in Northern California. What were those mountains called? Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful mountains in Northern California. And I went with Bear Grylls and we did. Chris, I bet you know the name of those mountains. I know Jamie will. She's going to join here pretty soon. Let me send her the link. Mammoth Lake. It was called Mammoth Lake. Now I remember. It's called Mammoth Lake. I got to go up to a place called Mammoth Lake. Hold on. Oh, Jamie's back. Okay, so I'm going to invite Jamie over here. And it was at that, there we go. Hey, Jamie, you can join in there. So we got to go do an experiment with Bear Grylls. The exposure to the video also, it just opened so many windows and so many doors to different things. And then I met Jamie. That was another blessing of Hurricane Harvey. So I sent, there's the link, Jamie, and you can just click it from your phone or from your laptop or whatever you're working with. Everyone's saying hi, Jamie. So I'm guessing she sees that. Some people have seen the Bear Grylls episode, and most people had no idea. You had no idea I was on with Bear Grylls. It was a really neat adventure. But I will tell you now, I did have to eat a rat. You know, Bear Grylls does that. He normally does celebrities, but the particular episode that, or the season that he did with me, were people who've undergone some kind of a hardship. And there were different types of hardships, y'all. There was one fella who I'm still friends with now. His name is Jonathan Blank, who lost his legs in Afghanistan. And he was just, I mean, come on, he's coming home, a soldier who was a highly decorated soldier who lost his legs in Afghanistan. And so his struggle was trying to find a new life for himself and adapt to the changes. And so Jonathan was one of Bear's guests. There was the lady who went the day before me, was a sweet young lady who had lost both of her parents. And then he just made sure that it wasn't Bear, it was his team who reached out and found people. But no, what he made us all do was go through different challenges and try to overcome. And along the way, he talked about our experiences. It's a beautiful episode. And then if you don't know, you can go to Facebook Watch or Facebook, and you can probably find it on there. Jamie has just clicked in, y'all. So we're going to click on over, and my part of the show is about over. Hello.
Hi, babe. Hi, y'all.
All right, so I kept them on for an hour and 41 minutes. I'm not sure if that's what that says or not. So we're an hour and 40. We're an hour and 41 minutes and 2 drinks in, Jamie.
Oh,
cheers to Timeout Tuesday.
Here's my Timeout Tuesday. This is what they gave me. So cheers.
Cheers.
I got some snacks. So we had a whole snack pack came with my check-in. Apparently, I have something called Wise Golden Potato Chips, mini Chips Ahoy, and some fruit snacks.
Wow.
What was funny is I was like, what's still open? Because I didn't eat other than my Starbucks drink. And they're like, and they literally handed over this bag. I'm like, okay, dinner it is. It's going to be fine. Totally fine.
Well, that's good. What I'm trying to do is put you into a larger screen.
I'm using my phone and I'm up and down. So
okay.
This is a gem. The security things are so strict on my work computer that it won't even let me connect to the Wi-Fi here. I have to call IT to allow them to use Wi-Fi that's not my home or work. So failed, which means I can't do any work either. So then I was connecting my phone, and it's fun, super fun. Travel is fun.
Someone said you should order a burger.
I'm actually just tired. Honestly, oh boy, drink 3 coming in hot.
I'm going to go half a drink this time.
Oh, that's good. What was
Keep going. This is your live, babe. This is your live. It's all you.
On the side, telling me what you were saying on both lives was really.
Wait, what am I saying?
Yeah, they're like, Lester blames your mom for his vanilla Jim Beam and Dr.
That's true. That's true. You admit it. I'm going to go get Dr. Pepper. You go ahead and talk about that.
And I thought it was funny because you can't blame my mom. What happened was Lester's favorite flavor of anything in life is vanilla. Vanilla milkshake, vanilla Oreos. He likes vanilla wafers, like vanilla creamer. He is Mr. Vanilla. So my mom drinks Jim Beam vanilla with Coke Coke. And whenever she came to visit, it's her vacation. She was like, hey, let's stop at the liquor store and grab this. So she did, and it was left over. She told Lester to try it, and he would have never tried it had it not said vanilla on the label. So he tried it and fell in love with it. Let me just tell you, Lester drank Malibu rum before this. He is not a whiskey guy. Even even whenever he ran out of vanilla Jim Beam, that first bottle, the next thing that was there was a bottle of whiskey that was left over from my work party. And he tried that. He goes, "Oh, this is disgusting. What is this?" He's like, "I'm just a vanilla guy. I only can drink vanilla." So he's now hooked because he puts it with Dr. Pepper. And whenever we have a Texas cocktail, Lester's drinking vanilla Jim Beam, which is funny because when he's on his second one, it changes from Jim Beam to Jim Bean with an N. And I start to giggle a little.
Gin who?
Jim Bean.
Gin Beam?
Yeah, Jim Bean is what
Gin Bean. That's what it's Gin Bean?
Jim Bean. Yeah. A couple of ends in there after he's had one or two, after he's had, he's on his second one to talk about his love of vanilla. And I just think it's funny because he was never a whiskey drinker, ever.
Hold on a second. I got to show you a comment. This is interesting. From Juzio. I didn't pick Lester as vanilla kind of a guy. Most
naughty little comment there. Lester likes vanilla
in my Jim Beam. Jim
and his coffee, and yes, his desserts and things he likes to eat are vanilla. What are you giggling about? I can't see any comments.
Oh, you don't get to see comments?
No, sir.
If I post them?
If you post them, I can see them, but I can't see them like you're scrolling and giggling right there.
Oh, I'm just reading. It's a lot of the vanilla comments. Hey, so you sent me a text before you took off that said you're on the hottest flight ever. So what happened? Why was your air not turned on? What's going on with that?
So
because I know when your sister came in, they were also in had a flight issue. What's going on with our airports today?
It wasn't bad, but they didn't turn on the AC. So we were sitting in the tarmac, essentially in a hot tank, and there's like no air movement. People are fanning themselves with all the magazines. People are taking clothes off on the flight. Not like that, but like, most people get on the flight wearing a sweater or having something like that. This was not the case on the plane that we were on. We were on the hottest plane I've ever been on in my life. It felt like I walked into like the well house with how stuffy that can get. It was hot. Watch out. Lester's got his little girl giggle going on.
Hey, I would rather laugh than cry because I've cried twice tonight already. Okay. I'm a wreck.
A little sniffly, and I was wondering if I missed a cry moment. What did you cry about?
I don't remember. I don't remember really anything of what happened in this live. I don't even know where a minute and listen, I don't even know where an hour and 47 went. I have no idea. And you may not know this, but I went live on Facebook before I went live here.
I was on your Facebook live while you're outside.
Oh, you were? Okay.
Yeah, for only like a minute though, because that was like right when it was taken off, and then I only like joined back out. Like, how you have to get above a certain foot before the Wi-Fi kicks on or whatever.
Okay.
So when I got above, we flew over Plum Grove and Longhorn Lester's though. So I got 2 videos of that, which was really cool to see from, aerial view. But after I got that, I sent it to you and realized that you were looking at it. I was like, oh, you must still be live. So I joined, and all I see, because I can't hear, is you touching the hoses. So did you make complaints about my hoses?
I did. I made a little bit fun of you for the way you laid out hoses all over the yard so I wouldn't forget to water tomorrow.
Well,
I'm not going to forget. I'm going to water when I wake up. I can't step over them all day. I'll water and I'll roll them where they belong.
That's good. That's perfect. When I made a video that will come out tomorrow morning, and it literally says, I hope Lester doesn't kill him. So, it's important.
No, I can handle watering your garden and our trees and our plants. I can do that. Jamie, give me a little bit of credit.
Okay. I'll give you the credit. I just know there's a lot going on. and there's a lot going on because of how hot it's going to be as well. So I was just giving you a little bit of like, I did my part as much as I could to give you instructions about what the priority is in that video. And then of course, that video doesn't compare to what happened later today and the video that I know you're putting out. And then mine will be in the afternoon, which by the way, I still haven't built. So I still have to do that this evening.
Okay, so I'm gonna take my hat off. I'm sorry, I haven't shaved. I am a mess. I've not had a shower. I'm still got green hay itchy all over me. But you should know that I've not built my video yet either. But Jamie, what she's talking about is, hey, I got something I can put on here.
Oh, welcome to Jurassic Park.
Um,
So do you not want to play it tomorrow? Because I've kind of been talking it up like we're playing them tomorrow.
oh, that's fine. That's
Okay.
fine. But I'm not playing mine tomorrow. So you go ahead
Oh,
and you can play it though. I don't care. So
no.
what Jamie's trying to tell y'all is that my life flashed before my eyes today. And I don't want to give too much. What's wrong? You can play. I don't care. I don't
No,
care.
I feel bad because I posted a comment about it. I made a post about it that your video is playing tomorrow morning, and now it's not going to play.
All right. So I'll do some rescheduling. How about
Okay.
that? Huh?
I'm sorry. I really thought you said you were going to play it tomorrow.
You're talking about what happened today where I almost died.
Yes, sir.
And so it just so listen, I almost die every day. It just
Yeah,
don't
but today,
always we don't capture it on video.
today
Huh?
was exceptional, and I caught it on video. Yeah.
Yeah. So we it was a horrific moment actually. And Jamie was videoing from her perspective. And I was actually on the tractor doing what I thought was safe, ended up not being so safe. And it was a really tough, it was scary. So, what I'll do, Jamie, to make sure that everyone is able to see it who wants to, you are going to post your video, your perspective on YouTube, correct?
No, sir. I was going to put it tomorrow evening on Facebook, on I'm a Survivor Facebook.
So why don't you put your video on your YouTube, which plays tomorrow at 6 a.m. And I will put mine on Facebook that plays in the morning. So all Facebook and YouTube can see.
Okay.
And then we can flip-flop in the afternoon.
Okay.
So they can see both perspectives. And this is weird that we're doing this with folks watching. Normally we have these conversations right here side by side. When you are a family that creates videos, especially when you're sharing the same content, you have to have these kind of discussions. And our discussions here around the dinner table or the bar where I'm sitting now, or even on the couch, will sometimes be about timing and when to make videos or when to place, all of that stuff. So when to schedule, they call that. So fine. It has nothing to do with Carl. Everyone thinks it's something to do with Carl. This has nothing to do with Carl. Carl is being he's being decent, guys. We're making do with Carl right now.
Yeah, not a Carl moment, not a text moment either.
But no, we almost die, Jamie. All right, we have so many life close moments, close encounters. Go ahead, you finish up, babe.
No, Lester or I almost die, and it's getting worse. And my coordination, for whatever reason, I told him one day, I was like, something's wrong. I have lost like normal function, and I'm talking like walking function, and like I ran into the door the other day, like the whole door.
My thing is, could you have possibly had a stroke and not even realize it? How does someone know they've had a stroke and they don't realize it? Because everything is normal except your coordination and balance. And all of a sudden, Jamie is walking and hitting doors like with her entire left shoulder or her entire right shoulder, or she'll be walking and like trip on nothing, just trip in thin air and like not fall, but like woo, like stumble. And I'm thinking, what's wrong with you? Like, what's going on with you? And so I'm wondering if you may have like had a stroke and don't know it. Maybe.
I don't know. I just thought it was like part of getting old, but like it's happening more and more and more now. So like Lester's not joking about like one of us almost dies every single day, whether it be via animals or projects we're doing or just my coordination or Lester's dumb decisions. One of those is the cause and a root cause in the world of Lester Morrow.
Well, your equilibrium is off and you don't have any ear pain. So it's nothing to do with like an ear infection or anything that you know of, but and that's all it is. It's your balance and your coordination.
Mm-hmm.
It's not your speech. You're not like fumbling with your words. You're not.
No.
So I don't know.
It's a really weird thing, like real weird, and it's not every day, but it is often.
Yeah. I remember the day that I did the live from outdoors and on the porch at I'm a Survivor, and I was sweating profusely, and how many people were concerned, but they don't realize, I don't think, that we do that every day. That's just a normal everyday. Anyone that works outdoors sweats profusely. So we have to always hydrate. Hydrate is the key word over here. But that's not just a Lester thing, guys. That's a this time of year, probably any state that has to deal with high humidity.
Yeah.
Some days that way.
Not based on necessarily what we're doing, but it's about the humidity level. So
yeah. No, I wasn't working. It wasn't a strenuous job I was doing at all. I didn't feel the but I know that I was a mess, just a mess. But listen, Jamie and I we've both experienced moments where we've gotten too hot. And so it affects me mostly with like migraine type headaches. And when I get too hot, I sometimes know it's coming on. I know I'm too hot. And when I begin to try to cool myself down, it turns into where it's a 2-hour nap in the complete dark. And I have this hell of a headache for like hours later. Yeah. And that's when I know that I've overdone it. And how about you?
You're going to hate to hear this. I start to get a pass out feeling like a fade of black in the vision department. And I'm like, oh, that's it. And I just need honestly to cool off in the quickest way. And usually that's a hose down. That sounds really terrible and very ungirly like, but I need to hose myself down and just sit. And then I'm pretty much spent the rest of the day with any other energy. It doesn't mean I'm laying down and sleeping the rest of the day. It just means that I need to switch my task to be like video building or paperwork or, regular things. But like it's happened a time or two where it's just, I pushed it too hard. And it just sneaks up on you sometimes.
Well, Kimberly says her nickname is Grace because she trips over everything. Kimberly, her nickname is Grace. So we can start calling you Grace as a nickname. Hey, Grace.
My grandma used to call me that when I was little because I tripped and I just wasn't coordinated like in sports and anything. I've never been a super athletic person or anything like that. But I just, it's been, what would you say, like the last couple months that this has been more happening than before?
Well, I just want you to know that everyone's saying it could be just premenopausal what you're going through. So I don't really know exactly what that entails, but premenopausal.
Nope. That's what it. So like that's what I read. Honestly, is that it's a hormonal thing, and your body is going through really messed up changes and causes all kinds of really strange stuff to happen. And getting old sucks.
Kathy can trip over a chalk line. She says Kathy can trip over a chalk line.
I feel you. But here's the rest of my health, the rest of my blood work, everything else checks out fine. But I have this weird lack of coordination. The only other thing I thought, like, is it something that happened? We had COVID like what, 3 times over the last couple of years?
Only 2 confirmed.
2 confirmed. But is it something that happened with one of those that just left me with something long term? Because
no, I'm sorry to tell you, but based on the comments popping through here right now by a lot of people, sorry, Jamie, to let you know, but it's just pre-menopause. And Lord,
stuff. These hot flashes suck, and the emotional imbalance.
Sorry, Jamie, but getting old sucks. Somebody said.
But like the emotional imbalance is like worse than a teenage girl, and I just spent a week with a pre-teenage girl, and my everything is off around that. And I know Lester doesn't get it because he's a man, but like it's a really strange place to be in because it's like this lack of control of just feeling normal. It sucks.
Well, Tiffany says everything you have to say, I think, but she does it with little emojis. 3 super hot type flashes, followed by 3 super cold, chill moments. So
yeah. So the problem is they don't align with Lester's moments like that. So he'll come to bed and it's freezing. And I typically like it chilly too, but he then flips on the fan on top of it already being freezing. And then I pile on like 7 covers. Then he gets into bed and his body is a furnace. And suddenly I'm boiling hot, like sweating hot. And
well, according to Mel, this is going to last for years and years. So you better get used to it.
You better get used to it. It's going to be great. It's going to be fine. It's going to be totally fine. It'll be fine.
So you're saying I'll have a lot of dates with Jen Bean then you're saying, right? So, well, that's great. That's just great, Jamie. Well, I'm glad that they're safe and it's been a productive live. We're going to go ahead and say goodbye to you now. I'm going to keep going for a while longer. I'm kidding. You notice, I know I'm kidding. You notice that my name over here is Timeout Tuesday.
I like it.
And then I called it the sweaty edition. Sorry. But when I first started, look at my collar. What do you call it when a man's collar is just, that's from sweat. That's from me doing this all afternoon long. That's how the collar gets that way because I'm doing this.
By the way,
all darn day. What?
Did you spray down the horses again?
With water or with the bug spray?
With water.
Neither. No.
Oh.
They were fine. They ate. They were eating good.
But what's weird about right now is a lot of people are asking me in a video, like, why aren't you spraying them for flies? It's too hot for flies.
Oh, yeah. We don't have flies at all. There's no flies anywhere. No mosquitoes, no horse flies. That's the only beauty of a drought, if you think about it. Think about it. Last year at this time, there were no flies either. No horse flies. There are no bugs. And so it's actually too hot. And there's nowhere for these flies to reproduce, I'm guessing. Which that is the only beauty, because if it were a wet summer, we would be inundated with fly issues and mosquitoes and everything else. So I don't know.
Yeah, I sprayed them down whenever I drove out the driveway today, and that's their normal time. I just didn't know if they were going to wait for you by the water trough or by the barn later.
Nope, I fed cows and horses side by side. Everyone was great, and everyone's eating. I gave green hay, and no one was up by the water troughs. So they're fine. That
means they're fine. They'll ask for it. If they want it, they go ask for it. That sounds really silly, but they do. And they know that that's part of their day. So just don't tomorrow.
Yeah. I'll take care of it. I promise you. But it is getting late. It's late here Central Time. So I'm sure it's even later. Eastern on the Eastern Seaboard. So you might want to at some point start wrapping it up. What time is it where you're at? Let's just hear. We don't tell us where you're at. Unless you want people to know, but what time is it there?
I'm in South Carolina, and it is 11:15 currently, and I still have to build the video. So you're right; we should wrap it up.
So you're in South Carolina on the East Coast, then, and it is 11:15.
I'm in Greenville, so I'm in mid-state right now. But yeah.
Okay. Either way, all right. Well, it's pretty late. All right. Well, I will talk to you a little bit later, and you might want to go ahead and I'll be quiet while you wrap this up, and then I'll end it when you say end it. But I will say thank you for letting me be a part of your Timeout Tuesday. It was fun, and I guess I feel like I got a lot off my chest today, so it feels good.
Excellent. Well, thank you all so much for joining Lester and waiting for me to get through my travels. Sorry for the airport weird live because I thought I was speaking really loud, and it turns out that every time that I would speak loud, other people and everything else would just get louder. Thanks for all the wishes for the safe travels, and sorry we didn't get to have a cocktail together tonight. Lester made up for it with his gin bean. So I love y'all. I hope you have a really lovely evening, a safe week. Lester will probably go live tomorrow in all of his adventures. I'm sure of it, unless he's talked himself out today, but that has never happened in the history of ever with Lester. So thank y'all. We love you. And we're so grateful for the gift of time that you grant us.
Amen. All right, Jamie, I'm going to end it there, and I will chit chat with you very soon.
All right. Bye, y'all.